Hey, beautiful friends. Welcome to the energy report for the month of February 2023. It is amazing energy. It is a really good month, and it behooves us to pay attention to the guidance that is coming through. So, if you watched my extremely long winded year ahead tarot Akashic reading, especially if you took notes, you may recall that the card for the month of February is the Ace of Pentacles. And in preparation for this energy report, I was tuning into like what really wants to be brought forward and emphasized around this energy. So, what the Ace of Pentacles represents is like the seed that we are literally physically planting to literally physically bear physical fruit in our lives. It's an action step, it is a decision, it is a declaration. It's like bringing all of our creational energy, all of the quantum leaping that we did last year in our consciousness. This is the point where we are bringing it into manifestation, like we are funneling it and packing it into this one beautiful, sacred, blessed seed and planting it in this reality, in this realm. And if you remember, if you did watch the whole year ahead reading, the card for March was the Ten of Pentacles, which means that this seed is going to very rapidly bear fruit. So it's extremely important that we be extra mindful about what we are planting, what we are encoding. Oh my God, this year is so exciting. It's just so exciting to me. I can't even get over it. I literally am waking up every day like a little, like, I don't know, like a little eager chipmunk or something. Like, what can I get into? Because last year, 2022, was extremely magical. It was um, a very expansive year, consciousness expansion galore. For me, it was just like open channel information funneling in, funneling in, funneling in, really honestly faster than I could keep up with. There was little to no room for me to integrate. And I feel like energetically, we pre-paved the way for the quantum leap. I know for myself, I had these like, intentions, as we often do when we manifest, when we believe in manifestation and we work that muscle. I had these like things that I was calling in, and I made the declaration last year, but they didn't manifest within the year. And by the end of the year, I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself and a little bit like, guess it's just not meant to be, or whatever, kind of, like, um, but now that I'm in 2023 and I'm feeling the energy here, I'm understanding that the things that were being pre-paved last year are really, really big. And so our energy body and our consciousness field, that which we could even conceive of, like that which we could even hold conceptually, had to go through a tremendous expansion in order for us to be prepared to plant the seed this year in this realm and in this reality. A seed that will bear fruit, as I said, very rapidly, and will affect, like the seed that we're planting, even though it bears fruit really like pretty much next month, like instant manifestation, again, quantum leaping level, kind of, very exciting stuff. It's going to affect us immediately, and it's also laying the foundation for the rest of the year and beyond, and how, like essentially what we have consciously created for ourselves, to stick with the theme of how I'm interpreting all of this energy. So it behooves us to be very, very intentional this month about what we are planting. For me, the energy from January, which was the Eight of Cups, like cut the fucking cord already and let go of the emotional baggage of the thing that has been dysfunctional that you've been trying to drag along forever. That actually didn't end up playing out until literally the last few days of January. It was very interesting. So it's a reminder. I'm just sharing this to remind you that you might not end up planting the seed until the very end of February, and that's okay. Right now, where you are, you might be listening to me and you're like, I don't know what seed to plant, or like, Amy's freaking me out with all this talk about being intentional and whatever about planting our seeds. It's okay. Just everything is working in our favor this year, hugely in our favor. Like things that were obstacles in the past are just very easy to dissolve and move out of the way if they're even there at all. So don't stress out, don't worry about it. But the guidance that I'm feeling for this month is to let yourself drop deeply into presence with like all the levels of your body. So your physical body, how your literal physical body feels, your emotional body, your mental body, your like your ideas and your beliefs, the emotions that interplay between those beliefs and your physical body, and your spiritual body. Drop into deep presence. It does not need to be a meditation per se. It totally can be, but it can also just be that feeling of sitting. I've been doing this a lot lately, just sitting and like being, just being, not even being for the purposes of manifesting anything or being for the purposes of visualizing anything, but more just like feeling myself in existence at a deeper level than I usually do. It can even just be that, but coming into deep presence with self and really creating the space to hear the subtle communications of your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, and your spiritual body around what it is that you are desiring to create through the very auspicious energies of this month and this year. If you knew, like if you had some like encounter with your future self from like 2 or 3 years down the road, who could tell you like, yeah, this is what, this is the job you have, or this is the business you have, this is whatever, this is what you do, these are the people in your life, this is how you feel, this is how your health is, this is all the areas of our lives that matter. If you knew that the seed you are planting this month would manifest fully and completely, what seed would you plant? This is a time where it's important to claim it powerfully and plant it powerfully, and not try to, reach for what seems realistic in terms of like the limiting programming and bullshit that we have received through societal conditioning, but to allow ourselves to feel into that which we would normally call kind of like fantastical, yet still being accessible to us through our imagination. So let me expand on that a little bit. I'm telling you that whatever seed you plant is guaranteed to manifest this month. I'm fairly certain that you would think twice about a lot of the seeds that we just sort of unconsciously, sloppily plant because, whatever, we feel sorry for ourselves, or we're just in kind of a dysfunctional pattern, or honestly, we're just being a little bit lazy, or we're not even sure that this whole manifestation thing is real anyway, so whatever. There would be ways that you speak to yourself that you would think twice about, because you would remember that I said what you plant this month is going to manifest. It will bear fruit very, very abundantly and rapidly, but also ongoing. So you probably would catch yourself, in the act of saying, like, I can't afford that. Or the act of saying, like, oh, you're such an idiot to yourself. Or the act of saying, like, all the good ones are taken, or nobody would ever go for someone like me, or no one would ever hire someone like me, or, whatever things that we say to ourselves, those are seeds that you are planting, especially if you say them out loud, especially if you share them with other people. But even if you just say them quietly in your mind to yourself, those are seeds that you are planting. But also, you know, as I'm saying, that the seeds that we plant this month will manifest, they will bear fruit. You might also feel tempted to, like, go for the golds, like for the platinum level, the highest thing that you think that you want. So, you know, not allowing yourself to be limited by, oh, I'd like a raise and I want my raise to be this much because that seems like realistic. And then, like, the whole energy of being limited by what's realistic is like preemptively basically neutering your own, like, vision and your own timeline, your own potential and creatorship, to prophylactically protect yourself from disappointment. Every time that we aim for something that seems like within the realm of possibility, like realistic, when we actually want something more, it's so that we don't get our hopes up and we therefore don't feel like the letdown of disappointment if it doesn't materialize, or when it doesn't materialize, which is just such a sad state, because it's like we have then, like, policed ourselves into our own box and we are reinforcing our own glass ceiling. Basically, the false matrix programmers have won every time that we employ that strategy. And also, are you not a grown ass adult? Can you not handle some disappointment? And do you think that just because something doesn't manifest within the framework that your human mind wanted it to manifest within, that it just will never happen? Of course you do, because I just shared with you that happened to me. That my thing that I wanted last year, that I was calling in, didn't manifest last year. And by the end of the year, I was like, I guess it's just not for me. I guess it's just not going to happen. And luckily, I came out of that funk in January and was like, no, it is happening. I feel it. Like, it is a 100% shoe in guarantee. It is already my reality, because that's how manifestation works. And I have the absolute benefit of having manifested a whole bunch of things and shifted timelines a whole bunch of times. So, at this point, I don't have to rely on faith as heavily. I have a lot of evidence to support that this shit works when you do it. But anyway, we can handle it when we're disappointed. I promise you, you can. So don't, like, neuter your own creatorship by aiming for something that's kind of like realistic and a little bit like about, the thing that you're wanting. Let yourself fully, like, tap into the seed that you genuinely want to plant, with the objective of it bearing the fruit that you want it to bear. And don't go to the other extreme of then, like, going for, like, the ultimate platinum vision of, like, well, heck, like, if I want to have, if I want to be receiving like $10,000 a month, why not just, like, say that I want to, like, receive $1 million, or $1 million a year, or I want to win the lottery or something like that. That's not really the seed that you want to plant either. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making $1 million or winning the lottery or any of those potentials, but have you actually done the work to pre-pave that, path for yourself? Have you feathered the nest of that manifestation being able to land in your life? Probably not. if you had, it wouldn't feel like a big stretch and you'd be a lot closer to it already. It's kind of like, have you prepared the soil to plant the thing, or are you just going to go like randomly dig up a chunk of soil in your lawn, dig up the grass and plant one single seed and walk away and hope that it basically like turns into a big old weed crop, big old marijuana crop. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever crop you want it to be. That's just not, yeah, it might work, but also it very well might not work. We're wanting to plant this seed very intentionally with an acceptance of the amount of power that we have as creators in this reality. Okay, what else wants to be said about this? There's more than wants to be said about our power and what we are choosing for ourselves at this time. There is a huge amount of power coming in, a huge, 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 for those of us that are ready to hold it and steward it with the utmost integrity. There is a lot of power for those who are also not, here to hold it with integrity, but I just don't think that's any of you. I don't think that's actually who I'm speaking to. So there is a lot of power coming in, and the move that we make this month, this is an extension of planting the seed, but it's also about the power moves that we make then to anchor that seed planting. Like what I'm trying to get at with this analogy and talking about seed planting and all that shit is like, the suit of the pentacles is about this materialized, grounded reality. That's why I know that this is about not just the quantum leap in consciousness, which very much was last year, like so many cups cards, swords cards, like there was a lot of like, ooh, it was all in the consciousness realm. This is about physical manifestation. And so we're planting this seed, and we are planting it with the understanding that it is going to take root, it is going to grow, and it is going to like yield a whole crop of whatever it is that we planted. So let's hope that what we planted was something we wanted. But there's also there's the action of planting it, and there is the act of making the power moves on the back end of planting it in order to keep the momentum of that powerful decision going, if that makes sense. So let me see if there's another way that I can put it so that it lands really clearly. Okay, let's use the analogy of an investment. So let's say that the seed that you're planting is an investment. You are literally planting a seed of money in an investment. It's a baby investment. You know that this is like, you might have a huge short-term, gain. Like you might just make the right investment move and boom, we hear about people investing in themselves. And then like, they make the payment, and then like magically that seems to change the energy, change their reality, and open the door for a whole bunch more money to come in, so that like they make back and exceed the money that they spent on the upfront investment. That shit happens. I have experienced it, and I know other people who've experienced it. Or if we're talking about more traditional investments, like in the stocks or in crypto or something like that, it's like you might make an investment this month, and you like, this is not an impulsive decision. There's still that moment where you decide to go for it, and that moment has it has an impulsive quality to it, because a lot of the time when we're planting a seed and we it's going to yield results. Like this isn't just a throwaway, just like absent-minded, unconscious decision we're making. This is like a thing. It's a big thing. I think I used the analogy of also like deciding to get pregnant. It's like a conscious decision to get pregnant, and then you get pregnant, like boom, right away. It's kind of like that. So there's still going to be that decision, whether it's like a financial investment, or it is a decision to get pregnant, or a decision to apply for a new job, a decision to move, a decision to start a business, like whatever it is, it's a very grounded thing. It's a very material realm thing. So you make the decision, and it's going to have an impulsive feeling about it when you finally go to click the button to like move the money, or when you actually like have the sex that results in a pregnancy, like that kind of thing. Or you tell somebody that you're you accept the promotion that requires you to move to a different state, whatever, like that. There's still going to be that feeling of like before we commit to it, but it is a very well cooked, very well considered, powerful decision, a powerful seed being planted. That's the first action. The second action then, that is being, really being brought to my consciousness to address, is the follow-up things that we do in order to keep that forward momentum going, in a way that, like it might still, well, it will probably still yield fruit, even if we don't follow it up with a powerful action. But this is about basically taking ourselves along with the energy that is already underway. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Let me see. Let me dial it back in for a second. The powerful second action is so that you don't get stuck in the immediate contraction that comes from like, like, oh God, I just spent all that money. Oh God, I just, like committed to accepting that promotion and moving to another state and completely changing my life. And, or like, oh God, I just agreed to, trying for another baby and we just had sex and I might be pregnant now, like that kind of energy. There are powerful actions required on the other side of that decision to basically like hold our nervous system open and anchor ourselves into what we're aligning with. God, I hope this makes sense. Some of these words that, come to mind are like so jargony, but I'm not sure if they even translate. The reality that we are aligning with is basically like, basically what we're doing this whole year is we are crafting a new timeline. Whether we are actively participating in this or not, there's something about the energy of this year that's like, all right, you guys, here you go. Like here, it's kind of like your dad being like, all right, here are the keys, get in get in, you're driving. And you just being like, what? And like, you've practiced, you've prepared. Your dad wouldn't give you the keys to, if you had literally never driven the car before. He's confident that you can do it. But it still feels a little bit like, whoa, okay, whoa, I'm in the driver's seat. Like this is on me. It's a little bit intense. Basically, we are writing an entire new timeline for ourselves this year. And ideally, we're doing it in a very conscious way. So whatever seed that you are planting in February is going to change your life, and yet how do I put it? It's going to change your life, and yet it is also going to change your life incrementally in a way that you can handle. It's not going to come in one fell swoop. This is not like, it's not followed by the tower card of like, something crumbling and like utterly transforming before your eyes, shaking up the foundation of your entire being and your worldview. It's not like that. It is the planting of a seed that is taking you in a whole new direction, but it will be incremental and you can manage it and handle it, but you have to consciously decide to manage it and handle it. Basically, what we're having to do is accept our power. That's what this is all about, is accepting our power and moving forward powerfully in the directions that we know that we are ready for, even though there's probably going to be a feeling of like, oh, ready for this, and a little bit of like, I made this decision. Was it the right decision? And we'll be experiencing that in April. Don't worry, we'll work through it together. But right now, the guidance is to very intentionally decide what seed we are planting. And like take the whole seed, the whole thing, and just hold it and infuse it with all of your hopes and your wishes and what you know is possible. And leave lots of empty space for it to fill in on like God's terms, basically like you're leaving a lot of space for the mystery and the surprise, and that even better than my mind could ever have imagined it. And yet you're infusing it just with the feeling of like, I know that this is possible. I don't even have to know the whole picture. I don't even have to know exactly what it is. I just know that it is possible. And then you're bringing yourself into a place of total power. Like maybe you hold that seed all month. Maybe you listen to this today on the 1st of February and you hold it all the way until February 28th, and you don't even plant it till February 28th. And you're holding it, and the whole time you're bringing yourself into a greater and greater and greater state of power. Maybe you're just like ready to plant it today. and you don't need to, take the whole month to do it. It doesn't matter. Everybody's going to go through the journey differently, but regardless, you're bringing yourself into a state of powerfully putting that seed in the earth and infusing it with your magic and your intention and your attention, and being like, that's it. It's done. There's no going back. There is no digging up the seed once it's planted. Doesn't matter. Like, that's not happening. That's not a thing that we're doing. And then in the remaining energy of February, the guidance is for you to, especially in the absence of knowing the results. I'm going to bring it back. Honestly, I'm going to bring it back to the pregnancy analogy, because this is really the best one. So, you have the sex that could result in a conception. You decided very powerfully and intentionally, this isn't a whoopsie. This is like, I've decided that I am going to open my energy up and open my life up and make space for the potential of another baby or a baby. And you have the sex. There is sperm, there's egg. Will it take? Won't it? We don't know. But there's no going back. You can't magically take the sperm out again. It's there. The seed is planted. And then every woman who has ever thought she was pregnant will tell you about the agony of the 2-week wait between, like basically having the sex that could result in a baby, and then the time that she's supposed to get her period. It's roughly 2 weeks. It varies from person to person, of course, because we are not frigging like clockwork. But there's this period where you just don't know. You can't take a pregnancy test because there is technically no pregnancy yet. Maybe the sperm and the egg found each other, but that little cluster of cells is just tumbling gently down the fallopian tube. It has not yet arrived in the uterus. It has not implanted itself. There is no sign of implantation bleed. There is no, alteration to your body chemistry or your hormones. So there's nothing to test for in a pregnancy test. Nobody has the answer. It's just a gigantic mystery. You just have to wait for 2 weeks roughly and find out. Okay, so that most women who have been on a fertility journey at any point, intentionally or unintentionally, know exactly what I'm talking about. The power move that I'm trying to articulate is on the other side in that void space before the the seed we planted, the the powerful decision yields fruit, yields evidence, starts to manifest and indicate to us that, like, oh yeah, this is happening. I made this decision and now we're moving. The powerful action is to support yourself during that void period so that you continue to increase your power. And you're not just like waiting and twiddling your thumbs, waiting to see if this new timeline is happening. It is continuing as though the timeline is happening. It's continuing as though the manifestation is occurring. Will it occur exactly right away, immediately, in, like 2 weeks from now? Or will it occur 6 months from now? Or like in my case, will it like actually start to gain traction a year after you make the declaration? It's like carrying on as though it's an absolute guarantee. You have made a decision as something is changing. And part of that something is you. You are powerfully changing. Our power is a very big and important theme here. In accepting our power and not basically outsourcing it to the external evidence, that it's just like making the fucking decision, basically. Like, no, I said, I declare, this is what I'm, this is the seed that I'm planting. This is the direction I'm moving in. Will it materialize instantaneously right away, or won't it? It remains to be seen. And I am moving forward in the energy of the powerful decision that I made. So I am now making successive decisions in the power of that energy. I'm not making that powerful decision and then collapsing my energy field and being like, like, is it going to happen? And like, oh God. And if you do that, that's okay too. That's part of the journey, honestly. Again, like, unless you've done like a year's worth of pre-paving and feathering the nest for this new manifestation to come in, then in all likelihood, you are going to go through those bouts where your energy collapses and you freak out and you're like, oh my God, what have I done? And like, am I ready for this? And, all the things we kind of spin out in crazy land. Just really, take yourself through different modalities that are supportive to you, especially like nervous system modalities. Like, I'm really talking a lot about tapping right now because it's been working so well for me, and it's so easy. It's so accessible. You can find videos on YouTube. So it's things like that that basically help to like calm your nervous system down and bring you back into that state of power. But so much of the seed that we are planting is the seed of the decision to accept that level of power. Yes, that feels complete. That feels like what wanted to come through for the month of February. I really hope that it serves you. This is a really powerful month. If you are listening to me talking about manifestation and quantum leaping and timeline shifting and all the things, and you're like, yes, that is the kind of year that I want to have. How do I do it? I don't know how to manifest. It's all well and good, Amy, that you have done it, but I haven't done it, or I keep trying and it doesn't work for me. Well, guess what? I have created a new container. It is called the Heart Star Creator 12-month manifestation incubator, and it is just starting. It is open enrollment, so you can come whenever you want, but you will get the best price if you join right now. You get the founding members price, and this is an entire year through the manifestation process, the timeline creation process, dissolving old timelines, holographic encoding of new timelines, activating our 3 levels of telepathy. And we're going through 12 different chakras, so 7 individual chakras, and then 5 chakra pairs. We are also going through 12 dimensions of consciousness and 12 strands of DNA. And we are working through all the trauma baggage that is in all of those chakras, and then clearing it out and activating all of the deep deep creational magic and psychic magic, energetic magic, all the things in all of those 12 chakras, or those, I guess, technically like 7 individual chakras and 5 chakra pairs. And we are activating ourselves into conscious creators while we are also leaving behind all the bullshit trauma programming that we've received from the false matrix, so that we can step back into the magical superpowers that we were given by God, and we can unplug ourselves so that we are no longer feeding the bullshit of this abusive false matrix mainframe. If you are interested, you can click the link in the bio to find out about it. It is priced so beautifully, so accessibly, and the information that you are getting in here is absolutely next level. It is the culmination of my whole like 25-year awakening journey, literally. And I think this is like honestly my legacy work and my masterpiece. So I'm so excited to share it with you. Okay. And if you're watching this and you carry the priestess archetype, keep your eyes open, because there is some very, very, very potent priestess coded information that is coming through for you very shortly. All right. That's it. I hope you guys have a beautiful month, and I will catch you in March. Bye.